Check, check. Anybody got me?
Yep, you're good.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.
Welcome everybody to another week of Wednesday Night Dash. Today we are at Watkins Glen in Watkins Glen International. Take a look at the track stats real quick. Oh, by the way, I'm Hunter Hughes and I'll be broadcasting tonight. We're in Watkins Glen, New York. The track opened in 1956. It's 2.45 miles long, and tonight we are using the cup configuration of the racetrack. Session rules tonight, 15 minutes of open quali, and then 25 laps. No competition caution tonight. Let's move right along. We're going to take a look at the point standings after last week's race at Dover, or actually 2 weeks ago, at Dover. Tyler Vickery sitting in the lead, but not so comfortably. Colton Gardner right behind him at 58 points. Then Kian McAravey at 53, Brian McKinney at 31, Caden McAravey at 25, Jesse Fox at 20, Ian Miller at 17, Eric Richardson at 16, Scott McHarris at 15, and then DJ Fluck at 8. And that rounds out your top 10. Real quick, we're going to go and take a peek at the schedule. Tonight, we are at Watkins Glen. Then next week, we're going to Michigan. And then the week after that, we're going to Irwindale. That'll be fun. A little short track racing there. Real quick, let's take a look at where people are running right now. Actually, we have a new, but not so new to the league, but new to the season face. Mark Vickers sets the quickest lap here, actually on pole. This is qualifying with a 1:13.9. He's making his season 7 debut. If you guys remember from last season, he won the GT3 season. So if anyone knows how to turn right, it is Mr. Mark Vickers. Then we got Dalton Wicker running currently P2 with a 1:14.0. A couple drivers I expect to be really quick tonight is Mr. Mark Vickers. I expect Ian Miller to be pretty fast. Ian Miller came up second in last season in the GT3 cars. And the GT3 cars and these ARCA cars are completely different. But Colton Gardner, Ian Miller is a well-experienced road racer, so I expect him to do pretty good. Also, Tyler Vickery, I expect him to do pretty good. The last time Wednesday Night Dash was in the ARCA cars, Tyler Vickery secured the win at Mid-Ohio as he gets a little loose coming off of turn 7 there. Tyler Vickery currently sitting at P3. There's 4 minutes left of qualifying, and before the race gets too involved, I want to real quick, let me just bring something up real fast. Real quick, as we are getting into the racing season, I want to take and give a shout out to the Highline Racing League. They are a racing league that features many of the Wednesday Night Dash competitors and personnel. Former announcer Kendall Kerr drives in that racing league, as well as Chad Winstead, former Wednesday Night Dash champion, and I think Colton Gardner in the 40 car might be running in that league as well. He runs in the Highline Racing League. He's been running in it for a couple seasons now, and he might be running in it again this season. They race on Thursdays. Tomorrow night is their first race. They are switching from the next gen car and moving to the Gen 4. Green flag is at 9:50 p.m. on FTN, with replays available on Stadium Scene TV. So definitely go check them out. Go check them out. But as I was talking, it looks like Dalton Wicker is now sitting on pole, running a 13.7. He beats out, and Mark Vickers actually has fallen back to third, with Tyler Vickery setting a good lap 2. Dalton Wicker, I believe, is making his Wednesday Night Dash debut. So, good way to make the debut by setting it on pole. There's about 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this open qualification session. All the drivers are trying to set their fastest lap times. Looking up a bit ahead, we see Tyler Vickery, who's on a bit of a heater lap right now. Let's see if he can do anything to dethrone Mr. Wicker. Tyler Vickery's fastest last lap time was a 1:13.73, and Dalton Wicker's fastest time on pole is a 1:13.71. So as they're coming to, with 55 seconds left, as these drivers cross the line, they're all going to start their last lap. So Tyler Vickery is about to start his last lap. Then Mark Vickers is going to get one more lap in. Eric Richardson's going to be able to get one more lap in. And Brian McKinney's going to get one more lap in. And I'm pretty sure if Ian Miller can get to the start-finish line before the checkered flag is dropped, he'll be able to get one more lap in as well. And it looks like he will, as he comes across the line with 10 seconds to go, but he's going to be able to run one more full lap. See if anybody else is able to squeak out. Brian Wicker, right at the very end. I don't think he's going to be able to get... Yeah, I think he's got his last lap in, but let's take a look. Tyler Vickery, let's see if he can set one more fast lap. As he gets squirrely, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. As he sets another 1:13.7. real quick. I want to see is sorry about that. Real quick, let's tune into the drivers
Yeah, I
talking.
think I might be remotely close. I'm still way behind.
I'm just mad that I'm mad that I'm loosened. The car got loose on a few corners there. I thought I was gonna get Dalton in.
See if I could drag in Colton. Who's? What? I don't see anybody. Okay, well, we're fine. Let's on the track. Andrew Hewitt's on. Looks like they're going to be doing one full pace lap, so maybe we can drag a couple people in. Colton, it's Hunter in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So you're rolling off P9 tonight. I know you've said that right turns are not your forte. Are you gonna try and compete tonight, or are you just gonna ride around and hope you can keep your car clean?
I'm gonna ride around and hope to keep my car clean and hope everybody makes mistakes. Because I've not had much practice, but I mean, time-wise, I'm not as far off as I thought I would be. But I think it's best to play the safe game.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. We're coming back from a week off. Did you use that last week and most of this week to really set some good practice time in?
Not as much as I would like to.
All right. Well, good luck out there today, and bring it home clean.
Thank you. Have a good broadcast.
Thank you. Tyler, it's Hunter up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
You're rolling off P2 today. I know you're pretty comfortable in these ARCA cars on road courses. Are you confident coming into tonight's race?
I think so. It's just I was hoping to be able to start off up front, but I mean, we'll see what this Dalton Wicker has, seeing that the lap times he's got. But I wonder if it was just a lucky lapper. But I mean, I know how Mark is. I'm probably going to be trying to focus more on Mark, especially with how wild these points are going to be. Just you know how I am with road courses. These cars and road courses are something I like. So just gonna try to see if I can expand on the points a little bit. I noticed both of the Macarabies aren't here, so and my only other competition is Colton, and I know Colton struggles on road courses, so try to make the most I can and try to pad this point lead.
All right. Well, you have a good race tonight, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, the voice of Colton Garner and Tyler Vickery, who are currently running first and second at the standings. Let's go and take a look at that real quick right before they go to green. Tyler Vickery currently in the lead with 64 and Colton Garner at 58 points. As they're coming around, the pace car is going to duck away here soon. Get on your feet. It is time to go racing here at Watkins Glen. And the pace car is away. Wicker's holding them up. Green flag, green flag, green flag's out here. Tyler Vickery actually gets a really, really good jump. I guess, right lane doesn't really go anywhere as they dogpile into turn 1. As we see Wicker to the inside of Tyler Vickery. They're side by side as they come up through the S's. Going down to the back straightaway, Dalton Wicker still not clear of Tyler Vickery. They're going to be side by side as they come to the bus stop. Mark Vickers there looking out back to try and make a move as they file out single file now. As they run Dalton, Vickery, Vickers, and Ian Miller. Tyler Vickery gets a good run. So he might try and cross over Dalton Wicker, but it doesn't seem to have the run right now. Getting back a couple spots, Ian Miller and Justin Neves are running close together. They look like they're just going to take it easy. Oh, as we seem to have an incident. Who is that? Eric Richardson. Let's check to see what happened with them. Hopefully I don't miss anything on track. Looks like Eric just got on the gas a little too strong. Spins it to the inside wall. Luckily, though, no one else got involved in that incident, but tough break for Eric Richardson. Coming into this race, he's actually he's pretty good on the road courses, but not able to show it tonight. The battle for the lead is still continuing, though. As Tyler Vickery gets a little bit loose, that's going to allow Mark Vickers to come into the picture once again. I feel like these three are going to be the big stories of the night. I wish I knew the pit stop, like the pit information, because I'm not sure if these drivers need to make a pit stop or if they can run it the whole way. Not too sure. Guess we'll have to see. As Eric Richardson is back on track now, so good for him. Maybe if there's a couple more incidents, he can get some spots back. As we see Mark Vickers dropped off by a bit. Maybe Mark Vickers is just going into tire saving mode. He had a breakout season. Last season in the GT3 cars, winning three or four races and clinching the GT3 season title. Mark Vickers is has a bit busy outside of sim schedule, so that's why we don't see him too often. But I was kind of looking forward to see Mark Vickers pair it up all season, but we get to see him on what some might say his best domain on the road course. Looks like Justin Neves got around Ian Miller. They're just going to set up P4 and P5. If you look a bit back, Andrew Hewitt and Colton Gardner are running within a second of each other. Let's see if they'll try and fix it up as Colton Gardner's blinking a bit. Colton Garner is one of those drivers that he's not very confident on the road courses, but I'm pretty sure maybe but with 5 laps to go, he'll have learned the racetrack enough to put the pressure on Andrew Hewitt or maybe even Brian McKinney. Right now he is putting the pressure on Andrew Hewitt. He's running a bit of a weird line right now. But the pressure is on up a little farther. Justin Neves and Ian Miller. Ian Miller's not letting Neves get away from him. These two are having the closest battle on track at the moment. But now I wonder what's running through Ian Miller's head. Is he trying to put pressure on... Is he trying to put the pressure on Justin Neves to make him make a mistake? Or is he just good to ride around? As Justin Neves gets way off track. And that's going to allow Ian Miller to... Oh, they get together. They're side by side. They're touching. Looks like Ian Miller goes on to apologize. But that's going to lose... That's going to make Ian Miller lose his momentum as Justin Neves makes a mistake entering turn 1, and Ian Miller is going to scoot by, but he is totally not out of the water just yet. As it looks like Justin Neves maybe locked up his right front as he entered turn 1. As they go into the braking zone. I think now's a good time as ever to enter our Turn It Up presented by Stadium Scene TV. The battle for the lead is getting a bit spicier as we're seeing Tyler Vickery slowly starting to reel in the 51 of Dalton Wicker. Ever so slightly, he's reeling him in. As they enter the braking zone, we're going to see Tyler Vickery start to put the pressure on Dalton and see how Dalton responds. Is Dalton going to fold under the pressure, or is he going to thrive? As they come out of turns 5, they're going down the backstretch. You know, in some cars, you can take turn 6 completely flat out, but in these stock cars, you absolutely cannot. If you tried to take turn 6 flat out, you would end up into the wall on the other end of the runoff zone. That gap has grown quite a bit as I think Tyler Vickery got a little loose coming out of turn 5, or entering turn 5 actually. Gap's about now a second and a half, but Dalton Wicker doing a great job in his debut race. Really not a whole lot going on track. Everybody's within a second, or everybody's at least a second from each other. I imagine that Tyler Vickery's taking it easy, as once the race gets closer down to the end, then he'll put the pressure on once more. Current track temperature is actually quite hot, as it's about 100 degrees, which means that these drivers are going to be slipping around. While we have the slight intermission here, we're going to take you, and I'm going to introduce you to Highline Racing League. They are an iRacing League just like us. They're going to be starting up once more. A couple familiar faces in Wednesday Night Dash are drivers in this league. Kendall Kerr was a former announcer. Chad Winstead, former driver. And Colton Gardner. They all will race tomorrow night, starting at 9:50 p.m. on FTN, with replays available on Stadium Scene TV. They are also going to be running the Gen 4 car, so similar body to this ARCA car, but it's got way more horsepower and it is way harder to drive. They're going to be racing at Daytona tomorrow night, so definitely tune into that. Gen 4 at Daytona. Name a better combination. 800 horsepower cars screaming around Daytona. Oh, as we see, Mark Vickers seems to be off the pace a bit. He's fallen down to 5th place. Oh, he's got a wrecked race car. What happened to Mark Vickers? His car is totally destroyed. Unfortunate for the guy who had kind of the biggest expectation coming into this. Oh, he just got out of turn 1. He got onto those rumble strips and his car just got loose. There's nothing he could have done at that point. As we see some drivers on pit lane, Mark Vickers trying to work his way back. Andrew Hewitt's on pit lane. Did he have an incident as well? I'm not too sure. It looks like he might have towed. Oh, yeah, he gets kind of the same deal as Mark. He got over those rumble strips. His car got loose and hard into the wall. No safer barriers there to protect him.
I'm staying inside.
So quite a few drivers out of this race pretty early.
Tyler, I'm going to stay inside, not go wide. Go right
Jesse
by me.
Fox is also out.
I'm just trying to clear a foot. I'm getting really annoyed with these cars right now.
Seems like everybody's having car troubles right now. Do you think that'll mean that we're gonna see some pit stops happening. Tyler Vickery seems off the pace. Ian Miller is way off the pace. The running order is really jumbled up right now as Mark Vickers, Andrew Hewitt are both on pit road. Jesse Fox is out of the race. And DJ Fluck and Eric Richardson are both sitting one lap down. Will we see Mark Vickers back out on track running 8th? But unfortunate for him, he's one lap down, and unless everybody wrecks in front of him, I don't think he's going to get that lap back. Andrew Hewitt's still on pit road. He may have called it quits. So Dalton Wicker looking pretty handsome right now, as he's got almost a 3-second lead on Tyler Vickery. Tyler Vickery came over the radio and said that his car was not doing what he wants it to. He's having issues as he goes way off track, and wow, what a save. That easily could have been a race ender right there. A lot of our drivers are having issues. But you know who that's really, really good for? Colton Gardner in the 40 machine.
It's gonna just piss me off more now.
Oh, real quick, I want to see if Tyler Vickery had an incident. Actually, it looks like he missed the turn 1 braking zone by a good bit. It looks like he got onto the grass and just totally slid the braking zone. Once again, saving the car, not hitting the wall. That matters more than maybe just missing a braking zone here or there, as long as you keep that car clean. Trying to go back to live as he's trying to just wiggle this car around. Maybe he's going to pull it down pit road and get some four fresh tires. We'll have to see. But as I was saying before Tyler Vickery came over the radio, Colton Garner, this is exactly what he needs to boost his...
I'm not going to try to race you, just trying to get some back.
Ian, I'm holding wide for you.
He's...
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're having some interesting stuff happening on track right now. Mark Vickers is trying to regain 7th position to try and muster something. He's got to get... Oh, as DJ Fluck misses, looks like he misses turn 1, but saves his car. You know, at least that thing's still running. That's all that matters at this point, is got to keep that thing running. You don't want to smack the wall. You don't want to destroy that car. As right now, actually, Colton Garner is starting to put the time down on Brian McKinney. It looks like that gap is starting to shrink by a bit, and this is the battle for P5. Colton Garner coming alive in these final handful of laps. Brian McKinney, that last time buyer, actually they're about to cross the line. But Brian McKinney, that last time by, ran a 16.62, and Colton Garner ran a 16.25. So Colton Garner starting to put the pressure on when it matters most. Fastest car on track right now is Ian Miller in that 48. He's putting down, he just ran a 116.043. So a good margin faster than our leaders. So I expect that gap to start to close as Tyler Vickery ran a 116.62. But it doesn't look like Ian Miller can gain any ground. He's got the lap car of Andrew Hewitt just ahead of him. Well, as I was saying, Brian McKinney and Colton Garner are now within a second of each other. Brian McKinney has got a handful. He just ran a 117.2. Colton Garner really putting the pressure on Brian McKinney now, as there's 9 laps to go in this race. Colton Garner gets a good turn 1. Let's ride along with him for a bit and watch how he navigates the corners here at Watkins Glen. Getting all the way to that blue wall on the bus stop turn. Runner seems to be able to make up a lot of time. Coming into turn 6, able to make up a lot of time that through turn 6 there. See what he can do through turn 7. They come across the line for 8 laps to go. He gets a little loose, but is able to hang on to it. Brian McKinney goes a little wide through turn 1, and that's going to allow Colton Garner to get right back up to him. Going through the bus stop once again. Colton Garner is able to go through the bus stop really, really well. As I've got the lap car of DJ Fluck getting in the way, but Mark Vickers is on an absolute tear right now. He's running 7th, but he just passed Ian Miller on track. Mark Vickers is running 115s, while the whole rest of the pack is running 116s, except for Dalton Wicker. Dalton Wicker just set a 115.5, which is faster than Mark Vickers. So Dalton Wicker is still the fastest car on track right now. What an amazing drive by Dalton Wicker. You know, the question is, can Mark Vickers come up to Wicker and unlap himself? And back real quick, the gap between Colton Garner and Brian McKinney is even closer now, within 0.7 of a second. They only got 6 laps to go, so the pressure is definitely on. Colton Garner wants to salvage as much points as he can, as he rolls a little wide through turn 6. But he's going to have a good entrance into turn 7, and he gets a little loose once again. Man, turn 7 is really haunting him right now. Turn 1, Colton Garner gets a really, really good entrance through turn 1, and that's going to give him a really big run as they go through the S's onto the backstretch. Colton Garner still taking it easy through the S's. By the way, Dalton Wicker just set a 1:15.3, which is marginally faster than everyone on track, except for Mark Vickers. Mark Vickers just ran a 1:15.4. Mark Vickers and Dalton Wicker, if Mark Vickers didn't have that incident, he definitely would be fighting for the lead right now. As we see Colton Garner looking to the inside of Brian McKinney. He's going to take a bit of a better exit, as these two are tooth and nail as they cross the line for 5 laps to go. Colton Garner just studying Brian McKinney, how he drives, what lines he takes, where he makes his mistakes. Colton Garner gets a really, really good turn 1 once again. It's got a huge run on Brian McKinney. It is definitely go time. The gap is closing as Colton Garner is going to get a really, really good run as they go into the backstretch. Is he going to try and dive bomb it into the bus stop? They are right on each other's tails as they go through the bus stop. Brian McKinney definitely feeling the pressure. Colton Garner was able to get on the throttle considerably quicker than Brian McKinney. As he looks to the inside through turn 6. Not going to be able to get it done, but is with only about 0.3 of a second as they go through turn 7. Colton Garner's got a good run once again. Going through the backstretch. Colton Garner, or the front stretch, my bad. Colton Garner, we know, is really good through turns 1. Way better than Brian McKinney is at the moment. Brian McKinney rolls wide, but so does Colton Garner. Colton's got the run as they come up through the S's. Colton Garner going to take it easy as he always does, but that's going to allow him to get the run as they go onto the backstretch. Colton Garner really sending it. About 0.5 of a second as they go through the bus stop once again. Colton Garner is going to try a slightly different line than he was used to. And it doesn't seem to work. He lost quite a bit of time through there, but he's still got two laps to get it done. Colton Garner gets on the throttle once again. Really, really quickly. They both go way, way wide as he's going to try and dive bomb turn 7. Brian McKinney's going to roll wide as Colton Garner gets a really good exit. As they go and cross the line for 3 laps to go. Colton Garner is going to try and dive bomb turn 1. Oh, Brian McKinney locks his tires. And Colton Garner move him to the 5th place position. Brian McKinney crumbled under the pressure of a hard-charging Colton Garner. But P6 is nothing to be too ashamed of. It looks like that might be the battle over as long as Brian McKinney doesn't have anything to say about it. Looks like he might try and take a heavy line through the bus stop. But Colton Garner is now driving away with it pretty smoothly. That was perfect execution by Colton. Sets it up for about 4 laps. Gets underneath of McKinney's skin. That's all you have to do. As Brian Wicker comes through turn 5, has led a perfect race. I think Dalton has led every single lap this season as someone's spinning. Who was that? Sounded like someone was spinning through a turn, but Dalton Wicker is going to see the white flag this time. A white flag, 1 to go, presented by Stadium Scene TV. All Dalton Wicker has to do is not make any mistakes. He basically just needs to coast this whole lap. He's got a 14-second lead on Tyler Vickery. All he needs to do is just coast, save fuel if that's a concern. He doesn't need to take any risks. He doesn't need to do anything like that. "15 seconds now. He does have DJ Fluck in front of him, but DJ Fluck's a nice guy. He'll...
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Yeah, DJ Fluck just lets him go by. As Dalton comes through turn 6, he's going to make the last right-hander through turn 7. And Dalton Wicker is going to win here at Watkins Glen. Looking back, Tyler Vickery running P2, had a good race, didn't get into any trouble, just drove his race, and Tyler Vickery is going to finish P2. As we see Ian Miller now coming through turn 7. Good run by Ian Miller. Needs to get him some good points. Ian Miller is going to come home P3. Then we have Justin Neves coming through turn 7. Justin Neves had a good, strong day, but Justin Neves is going to come home P4. And the battle in the closing laps, Colton Gardner is going to come home P5. And Brian McKinney is going to come home P6. Mark Vickers gets a P7. Eric Richardson comes through the finisher off.
There, Brian.
Eric Richardson's going to come home P8. And Andrew Hewitt is going to come home P9. As Dalton Wicker comes through turn 7, is going to burn it down. We have Ian Miller in here. Ian, you drove a good race today, came home P3. I think that's your first podium of the season. I might be wrong in that, but I think it's your first podium of the season. How was your race today?
I mean, I played to my advantage. Might not be the fastest guy on track, but I kept it clean, and or at least tried to anyway. I scrapped with Yves a couple of times. Yeah, no, I think it went really pretty well. I'm happy with how it all went.
Yeah, you were kind of my sleeper pick today. I know you turning right and turning left is kind of your forte, so I expected you to do good. Came home a good, solid P3.
Yeah, I'm all that endurance racing is paying off.
Definitely. So next week we head to Michigan. Are you confident in your abilities there?
I'll miss my right turns. So my oval track is not my forte, so I'm pretty sure the rest of the season is. I'm prepared for the rest of the season to be a wash, but I'm happy to make some of my money back tonight. So.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan is very similar to Auto Club, and in the recruiting race, you did pretty good at Auto Club. You might still be a contender.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll just have to put some time into it and see what I can slap together.
Yeah, well, good race today.
Yeah, well, thank you much.
We got P2 Tyler Vickery. How was your day today?
Well, not the way I wanted to. Just, yeah, I don't know how we're gonna be looking points wise. I was already marked on this calendar at the start of the season, especially with how everything was last time we ran the ARCA cars. Was I needed to pretty much like win out and try to max points because I knew I would be bound to have some kind of mishaps in another race later on, which yeah, I already could see it possibly happening. And yeah, even though with Kean and Caden not being here, it's like I can never put a chance on it because I could miss one race and that's it, and then the gap I had it would be gone, and then I'm trying to fight to keep it.
Well, at the moment, I think you are buffering your lead quite a bit. Colton Garner came home P5. Um, but a P2 is definitely nothing to be mad at. You ran, at least from what I could see, you ran a pretty clean and consistent race. I don't think you had any major hiccups or incidents. But you may have not been the fastest guy out there, but you seemed like the cleanest guy out there.
Yeah, it was just like every time I was practicing, I don't know if it's something they changed with the car. I don't know. Something to me just seemed off. Like when it seems like, especially when I run against some even quicker people, especially like Dalton. I was just thinking it was like I was thinking earlier, probably a fluke. But then it's like just watching him pull away, and I'm trying to figure out like every time I'm like even quarter throttle, and it's just I for some reason I don't know what's with I don't know if it's the road course setup or what or something I'm doing wrong. Granted, I'm like on a 8-year old pedal wheel and pedal system, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just me not being even softer on the throttle, but yeah. I mean, I know the everything so far. I mean, average finish for me has been third, so I mean, it's getting there. It's just I'm scared to have one bad race kind of ruin it all.
Yeah. And I'm actually just looking. You have the fastest lap right now with a 113.5, so you will get that bonus point as well.
At least that'll help. But man, would have liked to have had the whole hat trick and everything. But I think my only other opportunity is probably going to be Irwindale in 3 weeks time on the 13th of September, because that I mean with me now having some real life experience with New Smyrna and that. Granted, Irwindale's about a 3/8 track, but that's going to be probably my only other best bet is with having the real life experience now of running short track, some of the short tracks. Maybe, hopefully, I can try to pad that lead a little bit, especially with Michigan being a Michigan's going to be a dice roll, especially with how that track is.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you. We're going to Michigan next week. Are you like confident with Michigan?
Well, I know the past seasons we've ran Michigan both with the next gen car and this car. I managed to miss both times we raced the at the track. So I've granted I've ran the cars in official sessions and stuff at Michigan, but I mean I feel confident, but it's more trying to see what I can do setup wise. I mean, what I can do setup wise with steering inputs and just little things, trying to see what I can do to just keep the car intact because I just know that the tire wear is going to be massive, especially when we're going probably 170 180 in the corners, and that you have to be really cautious of what line you want to take, especially if we're running 2 3 wide most of the time.
All right. Well, you had a good P2 run tonight. Uh have a good rest of your night then.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Hunter.
And coming up last, kind of the story of the night, Colton Gardner, you manage a P5 tonight. Tell me about your night.
I just tried to keep it clean and make passes when I could. I felt like I couldn't get the throttle under me that well, out of the corners too well, but I just tried to keep a pretty decent pace to race the guys that were back there and be clean as well. But it was a lot of fun. I love Watkins Glen. This is my second or third race I've raced here, and I'm glad I was able to pull off at least a top five.
Yeah, your battle with Brian McKinney was kind of the battle of the race. You guys were getting close to each other, and you guys were racing pretty much the whole race. And then at the very end, you forced him into a mistake, and you were able to scoop by.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun racing Brian right there. It was a lot of just holding on for dear life, really, trying not to overdrive and just destroy him into corners. Um, but he put up a really good fight, and it was a lot of fun to race him.
And lastly, before I let you go, I asked each other person this. I'm gonna talk to you next week. We go to Michigan, and I know Michigan is you're pretty fond of Michigan. Do you think you'll be confident going into Michigan?
I believe so. As long as the tire model hasn't really changed much, I believe if I can save tires like I did in the previous race, I'll have a good shot for the win. Um, and hopefully don't make any mistakes, really. But it's just going to be a tire saving game, really.
Yeah, and your P5 tonight doesn't actually it helps you quite a bit maintain that second place um over Kian McAravey. Both Kian and Caden did not show up tonight, unfortunately, but you're pretty much comfortably ahead of Kian. You're gonna be chasing down Tyler Vickery, but next week's definitely gonna be interesting.
Yes, it will. It's shaping up to be a pretty good points battle here in season 7, and I just hope that we can all put on a really good show for everybody.
All right. Well, I'll let you go now. You got a good, strong P5 tonight, and you have a good night.
Yes, sir. You do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, that was a good race here at Watkins Glen. I'm going to leave you guys to it. Come back next week, same time, same place at Michigan. And then the week after that, we're going to Irwindale. Actually, we might have a break off, and then we're going to Irwindale. But definitely stick around for that. My name's Hunter, and I will catch you all next week. Bye.